Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr., and we have a loaded show coming up. Here's a look at the 49ers Report rundown and everything that we're discussing. Number one, can the Niners run the table? Number two, what Kyle Shanahan likes about Thursday Night Football. Shanahan and Brock Purdy talked about that Deebo Samuel tweet and the lack of targets. The Niners need to keep this player in the offseason, and San Francisco can't afford to make this mistake on Thursday Night Football. Speaking of Thursday Night Football, keep it right here on the 49ers Report for our watch party. The show gets underway 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, a long extended pregame show because we love the faithful, so be sure to hit that sub button right now for that, but for daily and year-round coverage of the San Francisco 49ers. Let's begin here. Can the Niners run the table? That win over the Chicago Bears has me somewhat excited for the final month of the season, and I can tell that some Niners fans are very excited about the prospects of this team getting hot, because any team catches fire late in the year, they have that nobody believes in us type of mentality, and it's always kind of fun to be the underdog and to pull off the impossible, pull off something that nobody thought was possible back a couple of weeks ago, even yours truly. I thought it was doubtful that San Francisco could make the playoffs, but if they win this game on Thursday night, avenues open for this football team. And right now, the 49ers coming off their best, most complete game, and they are playing with hunger, they are playing with desperation, and you can sense that right now. And I know we're all down on this football team, but let's give them credit for this, right? Their backs were against the wall against the Chicago Bears. A lot of people thought San Francisco wasn't going to win that game. I was included in that grouping. But while they have been disappointing this year, going into the year as Super Bowl favorites, they're still one game over 500. They haven't beaten a team with the winning record. At the time of that game, they're battle-tested. Their skin is thick. They are tough mentally and physically. And over the years, we have seen them play some huge games. And you saw that experience. You saw that physical and mental toughness on display against the Chicago Bears. Of course, in order for the Niners to win out and to run the table, it starts on Thursday against the Los Angeles Rams, a team that dropped 44 points against a Super Bowl contending team in the Buffalo Bills. One of the more impressive wins that any team has had in the National Football League this year. And this game will not be easy on a short week. But if the Niners can win that game, they travel to Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins in Week 16. You get the NFC Championship game rematch against the Detroit Lions, and then Week 18, another massive divisional game in the NFC West on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. Let's start off with Niners-Rams. A couple of thoughts on all these games. The Niners defense will need to bring it. Matthew Stafford is arguably the best quarterback in the NFC, still one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He's been playing with precision, accuracy, confidence, letting it rip. Him and Sean McVay, when they're on the same page, my goodness, that offense is fun to watch, and you can admit that even if you're a diehard Niner fan. But this Niners defense, they're going to have to play like they did against the Chicago Bears, where they only missed 4 tackles, where they had 7 sacks, where they were really good at each level of the field. No communication, no scheme breakdowns. And the offense and Brock Purdy need to play with balance, efficiency, and explosion like they did against Chicago. Niners-Dolphins. Miami has a ton of speed around Tua Tagovailoa. Tyreek Hill, lightning quick. Jalen Waddle, one of the top number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. That running back room, one of the fastest running back rooms in the history of the league. No cap. Bunch of guys who can run 4.2, 4.3. And the Niners have an advantage. Yes, they have to travel all the way to Florida, but they're going to be coming off a mini bye. 3 extra days of rest, and the weather will be good for Brock Purdy. You don't have to worry about inclement weather, rain or snow, because then sometimes he struggles to throw the football. Niners-Lions, NFC Championship game rematch. And this offseason, the Niners and Lions butted heads on a couple of occasions. The Niners tried to sign one of the backup tight ends from the Lions roster in Brock Wright. The Lions blocked that because they matched the deal. And then during the draft, the whole Lions brass was wearing Brock Wright jerseys in a message to the Niners that, yeah, you tried to take our player. We're not letting that happen. And a couple of other times, like the Lions reset the market at the offensive tackle position with Penei Sewell. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you felt as though that was a message to the Niners, that we have your playing style, we're coming for the top spot in the NFC, we replicate how you run your organization, we have talent, we have physicality, but we're going to reset the market at these different positions to force you to pay and maybe overpay your players. The Lions are banged up on defense, so when you think about that game, that could aid this Niners offense. And just because the Lions have gone about this offseason the way that they have, the Niners are going to get up for this game, and they're going to send a message to Detroit. We're not to be messed with in the NFC. Niners, Cardinals. Arizona, not good late in the year. This has happened almost every year that Kyler Murray has been healthy and in the NFL. And will San Francisco get swept by Arizona? I don't think so. And Niner fans will take over the desert for that football game. So predict it. Will the Niners run the table? Are you pumped up? Are you excited? Type W for win out, or are you down on this football team still? Type L for you think that they will lose at some point along the way. As for this Niners-Rams game on Thursday night, massive matchup coming up in prime time. The Niners look to avenge their crushing Week 3 loss. This game getting underway at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 p.m. Pacific. Again, we're doing a watch party for this game. The Niners are the home team as this game will be going down at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. The over-under at 48.5, so the odds makers expecting some points to be put up. I expect that to be the case as well. And San Francisco, 2-point favorites. The Niners pretty much have to win this game to have any hope of winning the NFC West. And that is their most likely pathway to making the playoffs, because I don't think they're going to get in as a wild card team. So you look at the NFC West standings here, the Niners desperately need to improve their divisional record. And if they win this game, they're 7-7. The Rams are 7-7. And then both teams have 2 wins in the NFC West. The Niners lose this game, you can pretty much kiss away any opportunity that they still have, and the chances are slim to win this division. But you win this game, you're right there in that mix with the Rams and the Cardinals. You're hoping for a Seahawks loss on Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers. And if Seattle loses that game with 3 games left, things really start to get fascinating and interesting, and pressure is applied on the other 3 teams in this division. As for what Kyle Shanahan had to say about playing on Thursday night in general, I think there's good things and negative things to it. I think that's why the players all kind of like it. It's also when you're hurting from the Sunday game. Sometimes it's why guys can't go on Thursday where they could go on Sunday. It just kind of depends on how the day went before and how they're going. But I think when you are feeling good and you're able to pull it off, I do think the guys really appreciate the 3-day bye week. You don't get many breaks in this league with you only getting 1 bye week, and 1 bye week in week 17, or 1 bye week in 17 weeks isn't enough. So I think sometimes it's crucial to have these Thursday night games because it is great for the mental and for the health physically for guys to get away for these 3 days. But it is always such a huge challenge when guys are banged up that they're just not ready to go on 4 days rest where they could be on 7. So it's got its pluses and its minuses to it. And for the Niners, we've talked about this so much. Their rest disadvantage this year has done them no favors. They have played a lot of teams with the Niners coming off a short week and teams coming off an extended week or teams just coming off a bye. I thought the NFL screwed the Niners with this schedule considering what they've done in years past. And that should be applied. That should be thought about. The Niners have made all these deep runs. 4 out of 5 years, they've been in the Final 4 or in the Final 2. Those are shorter off seasons. They just played in the Super Bowl. Yet you're going to shaft them with the rest disadvantage, but the Niners finally have a rest advantage, and that's why this game is so big. You win it, you're in the mix in the NFC West. Your playoff hopes are still alive. Then you get that mini bye week. Going up against a Dolphins team that is soft, and that helps out San Francisco. So if the Niners win this game against the Rams, they'll really start to believe. And speaking of the Rams, if you hate them, this is an intense rivalry. I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, beat LA. That is the motto all week during Rams week. Still plenty to get to here on the show, but first, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. We really appreciate them for making today's 49ers Report possible. This is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 200 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to play DFS. And the fact that you can win 200 times your money, what a deal that is. And PrizePicks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join now because this holiday season, PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. And right now, you sign up today using that link down below, prizepicks.com/CLNS. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. As for one of those December specials, Patrick Mahomes, more than a half passing yard against Cleveland. He's going to throw for 1 yard or more. Come on now. George Kittle, more than 57.5 receiving yards. The pass game needs to go through number 85. And Matthew Stafford, more than 245.5 passing yards. When he's playing up to his caliber, 245.5, not that much at all. So pick more, pick less during this holiday season. Pick PrizePicks. Run your game. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. We'll put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's Niners Report. All right, we move forward. Coming up here on the Niners Report, Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy talk about that Deebo Samuel tweet. Was he right in saying he's not getting enough touches? He's not getting the football. Let's hear from the head coach and the quarterback because they're 2 very important pieces of this Niners offense. I'm also going to explain, pertaining to Deebo, how San Francisco can't afford to make this mistake going up against the Rams. And then lastly, I'm thinking about the offseason here, looking ahead for this football team. There's a player who is irreplaceable on the defensive side of the football who the Niners need to bring back in NFL free agency. Let's begin with Deebo Samuel. In case you didn't know, on December 9th, earlier this week, he tweeted out, "I'm not struggling at all. I'm just not getting the ball." What's funny about this tweet, it was community noted on X. Deebo then deleted it, and it was community noted because the community notes read, Deebo Samuel leads the 49ers in drops. He is struggling this year. Then Deebo, on Tuesday in the locker room, the media contingent gathered around him, and he reacted to all of this. And he doubled down. He said, "You read what you read. I'm not getting the ball enough." He didn't really expand on that, but I'll expand on what I think of this. What I didn't like about that Deebo tweet, the Niners on Sunday played their most complete game of the season. San Francisco finally found an identity. They got some good vibes flowing for the first time in a long time. They snapped their 3-game losing streak. The offense against a top 10 overall defense in Chicago dropped 38 points. The Niners haven't had good vibes in a long time. Players have even said it. It's pretty much a season from hell. But now the Niners have some good vibes about them. They're believing that they could potentially make the playoffs, playing with hunger and desperation. And so coming off a huge win, Deebo Samuel is all about me, me, me. It was a selfish tweet from Deebo, and that is not how a team captain acts. Yeah, we won, but I need the ball more. The offense looked great with you pretty much doing nothing outside of a long 20-plus yard catch. Are you kidding me? And Deebo this year is getting plenty of touches. The numbers on the eye test haven't lied to us. His yards of separation are down. His yards after the catch are down. His tackle-breaking numbers are down. His yards per game from scrimmage are down. His receiving yards per game are down. All of the numbers for Deebo have decreased, and he's looked slow. His body language has not been up to snuff. And Deebo doesn't think he's getting enough touches. Ladies and gentlemen, our eyes don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Either do these numbers. Deebo's on pace for 100 touches. That would be Deebo's most since 2021 when he was an All-Pro. And what bothers me about this, Brandon Ayuk has been out for several weeks. Christian McCaffrey missed much of the season. He's now out for the rest of the year. And Deebo Samuel has not stepped up. It was kind of clueless for Deebo to say that. Read the room a little bit. As for what Kyle Shanahan had to say about Deebo, of course the head coach is going to have his guys back. Deebo and I talk every day. I understand Deebo saying that. The only way he helps us is by getting the ball more. We'd like to get it to him more, and we'll continue to work at that. We'd always love things to stay in-house. I'm sure I'd get worked up, too, if I was reading stuff about myself all the time. Is it a distraction in our building? No. It's the first time I've talked about it right here. Deebo and I see each other every day, talk about stuff every day. My advice is to not let the outside noise frustrate you. Just answering those things isn't going to help you in any way. It usually hurts you. But as far as what we deal with in our relationship and our team, it's water under the bridge. Kyle Shanahan also said that while he sees where he's coming from, he wishes Deebo kind of kept that in-house. And Deebo's always been one of Kyle's guys. It's easy to see why the head coach would have his players back. I always believe that the head coach should have his players back as long as it's justified. Here's what the quarterback had to say about Deebo's tweet. Purdy, Deebo and I talk all the time, and he's like one of my best friends on this team. I absolutely love Deebo and what he's done for me and helping me out. We talk all the time, and I think he's right. He's doing great right now. What we ask of him in the offense, and he's not struggling or anything. It's just like I said before about guys like Ricky Pearsall or last year with Ayuk for a little bit. There's just moments, I guess, throughout seasons where guys just don't get the ball, just depending on the scheme or what the defensive scheme is, them taking guys away. So I want Deebo to get the ball every play, and I'd do that if I could. I want to have him break all the records as best as possible. I want Deebo to do Deebo things. We all do in this building. So it's just how the games have gone, but I love my guy, and I'm going to do everything I can to get him the ball. John Lynch echoing something similar to Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, saying, Deebo's made a lot of plays for us over the years. I think it's a little bit unfair how people are piling on to him. But when you're a team captain, when you're paid that much, you are held to a different standard, especially when you have been a special player in your career, and especially considering that McCaffrey and Ayuk have been out, yet Deebo hasn't been able to step up. As for what the Niners cannot do, and this is for Kyle Shanahan, this is for Brock Purdy against the Rams on Thursday night. Shanahan and Purdy can't try to appease Deebo. They can't overly commit to his needs. They can't overcompensate and try to force him the football, because if they do that, that's a negative for your offense. It is not maximizing your offense if you're doing everything in your power just to make Deebo happy. He has to be effective with his touches. And Kyle Shanahan has given him ample opportunities to make plays. Routes downfield, crossers, long balls, bubble screens, jet sweeps, handoffs, direct pitches. Kyle Shanahan's drawn up all these plays. They've had him back there as a kick returner. And so they're giving him opportunities, but Deebo isn't making the most of those opportunities. He's lacked a little bit of speed. He's lacked a little bit of elusiveness. He's lacked that dynamic, tackle-breaking, I'm going to take your will, run over you, and take it to the crib type of skill set that he's had in years prior. And so if you force him the ball, you are then taking away opportunities from players who you should be running your pass game through. And that is George Kittle, and that is Juwan Jennings. George Kittle is the best overall receiver on this team. As far as being a receiver threat, he's so dynamic before and after the catch as a blocker. And Juwan Jennings is the best wide receiver on this team. And those are the players that the pass game should go through. And those are the players that Brock Purdy has the best connection with. And so I think that the Niners should stop running Deebo. He's averaging 2.9 yards per carry. And they should target him a little bit because, yeah, he still has the ability to be a dynamic special player. But don't overcompensate and force feed him the football, because in that game against the Bears, what was refreshing from Kyle Shanahan. Christian McCaffrey didn't play. So Shanahan didn't rely on McCaffrey just to be special. Instead, Shanahan was special as a coach. Play designs, misdirection, being aggressive, doing some things as far as applying wrinkles to this offense. And it resulted in the best offensive performance for this football team from start to finish this year. Lastly, here on the show, tweeted this out this week, and I want to double down on this because upon looking at the tape and hearing what some players have said, this is the right move in my estimation. A player who the 49ers need to retain this offseason is safety Talanoa Hufanga, who is set to be an unrestricted free agent. Does he struggle in coverage sometimes? Yes. Do the Niners hide him in coverage at times? Yes. But Talanoa Hufanga has a plethora of skills which make him very, very special that you can't coach or teach. Talanoa Hufanga has great feel. Hufanga has great instincts. He has a knack for making game-changing plays on the defensive side of the football. I also like his versatility. You can use him as a blitzer, hybrid linebacker, a little bit too slow for the slot, but he can be there a little bit, especially on those corner blitzes, and as a safety on the back end. And because of the feel, the instincts, just having a feel for where the ball is, Talanoa Hufanga is always around the ball, and he's making game-changing, game-wrecking plays. He's also extremely smart and intelligent, and he's an awesome leader. And even though in the pre-draft process a few years ago coming out of USC, he didn't time or test fast, he plays the game fast. That is what you call game speed as compared to combine speed. He flies around, and he plays like his hair is on fire with physicality. He's done this every year that he's been available, healthy, and on the field. And this is a big reason why the man was a first-team All-Pro back in 2022. And so the last 2 years when he has not been on the field, this 49ers defense has really missed him. He brings you captain-like leadership and then the ability to make plays all over the yard. And when you take him away, the opposing offense doesn't fear this Niners defense as much, and they don't generate as many turnovers. So this is a leader who, if he can continue to stay healthy, torn ACL last year, came off that injury, hurt his ankle, tore ligaments in his wrist, he can be a key figure of this defense for years to come. And you have to start ushering in this next era, right, on this Niners team. Kyle Shanahan had Brock Purdy and Diamador Lenore address the team last Saturday. It's pretty telling. He's looking at those two young players as the next iteration of leaders for this football team. And defensively, you locked up Diamador Lenore. Might be wise to lock up Talanoa Hufanga as well, because you know every single Sunday those players are going to bring it. So do the Niners need to re-sign Talanoa Hufanga? Let me know what you think down in the comment section. S for sign, W for walk. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that sub button right now.